Let's go!
Hello, good day. Let's go on again with the archetype reviews. So today we'll be doing Marnie and Thyplosion. These are my two most popular archetypes out of the Destined Rivals blocks. Sorry, started there. Off of the Destined Rivals block. These archetypes and trainers are denoted by the little trainer icon in the corner there. So this video is about ones that you might see fairly more popular, right? So first things first is the titular line. This is Ethan's Cyndaquil. Nothing to really be that big, but the main part of the deck here is Ethan's Quilava, which allows you to search for Ethan's Adventure, and that's the key part of the deck. Next we have Ethan's Thyplosion here, which is the big attacker. This first attack here is the main one you'll be using, which is Body Blast, which does 40 damage, but it does 60 more for each Ethan's Adventure in the grave. So let's go into Ethan's Adventure here. Ethan's Adventure. Search your deck for up to 3 of any combination of Ethan's Pokemon and basic fire energy, reveal them, put them into your hand, and shuffle your deck. Again, seems pretty innocuous, but it actually is pretty strong. So if we look over the Ethan line here, I'm going to put back in Ethan. There we go. You'll notice that there are a lot of fire Pokemon here. So now with this, you can actually search for your Quilava, Cyndaquil, evolve, and then continuously keep searching for Ethan and energy to fuel the deck. And then eventually this hits upwards of 280, which is very strong, especially for one prize deck and one energy that you can consistently hit. And there are some augments, so we'll discuss that while we're reviewing the decks. For now, we're just going through the cards. Next we have Ethan's Ho-Oh, which has this golden flame ability, which reads, once per turn you can attach up to 2 basic fire energy to any of your from your hand to any of your Ethan's Pokemon. So again, Ethan just feeds into itself. Pretty strong, 160, and heals 50 from each of your Pokemon. So not the best, but the energy acceleration's excellent, right? We have Ethan's Pikachu, which is a kind of a meme, because it does exactly 30 damage for free, meaning you can kill Abadoo. So what could get rid of Abadoo? How you deal with it? Ethan's Pikachu. Yeah. Then we have Ethan's Pinsir here, which has this attack. This one does not much. For 3 of any color. If any of your Ethan's Pokemon knocked out last turn, this attack does 100 more, so 170. Again on a one prize, pretty good, and into like Cynthia and that kind of stuff, very strong, because I would take out Garchomp, right? If it doesn't have the weight, which is again thick hefty boy. We have Ethan's Slugma here, not much to look at. Here we go, has no retreat cost if it has no energy on it, so it's a free retreat option, as well as this here, which is the big attack from it. Discard up to 5 energies from your Pokemon, or this Pokemon, sorry. This attack does 70 damage for each, so that's a maximum of 350, which can kill anything that doesn't have a tool boosting hit point in the format. And you have things like Ho-Oh to get you there. We have Sudowoodo, which stops your retreat and could copy one of your opponent's Pokemon attack. So yeah, not really that good, right? So now for the view of the deck particularly. So the deck typically functions with just these 3. Ho is optional, but they don't really use the Pichu or the Pinsir or the Sudowoodo. You may find a couple builds with Magcargo, but less so. May have maybe a 1 off or 2 off in the deck, but not more than that. The deck functions very well as you just get out Thyplosions and Quilavas pretty quickly and try dumping your Ethan Adventure with multiple cards, your Ultra Ball, your Secret Box, to get this up as fast as possible and just keep swinging for consistency. The Ho-Oh has actually found uses in other decks, With its acceleration, there's a particular ability to Rage and Bolt, because it allows you to get back 2 fire energy onto it, meaning it can quickly add that 140 to Bolt with a easily accessible pool of energy to discard for Bolt, as well as the fire deck with, I want to say, Gouging Fire is the name. I believe it's Gouging Fire, who they energy transfer it up. One of the fire energies, they use Sailor's Vitality to bring another one from the grave, and then one from hand, and you can swing for 260 right away, which is pretty high. So yeah, so all in all, this is a pretty strong set. It's like one of the prominent cards in the format. And right now, Ethan's Thyplosion actually is very popular in the local meta. In addition, with 2 cards that have been released, being Victini. There we go. With this Victini here, which allows your evolution 5 Pokemon to 10 more damage, so that carries your Thyplosion to 290. And they were running Gravity Mountain. As you can see here, Gravity Mountain, to help get over Charizard and Dragapult, because that reduced their hit points to 300 and 290 respectively, meaning they are in range to win a prize very easily. But with the addition of Black Bolt and White Flare, we actually got this card here. This is Brave Bangle. This allows your non-Roblox Pokemon, aka Thyplosion, to deal an additional 30 damage to Pokemon Robloxes, aka Charizard, Dragapult, all those big boys. And if you're right, does 280, that carries him to 310, which could take out basically all EX Pokemon in the format. If you combine it with Gravity Mountain and the Victini, that's enough to take anything out. And they run a pretty tight ship with the Ethan line and maybe a Ho and maybe a Pheasantipity, and that's it. So it's a tough one prize race through that game. And again, a bit of recovery and it's Ethan's Quilava. The deck is very, very consistent, scarily so. One of the most scary matchups I have in the current format, because the one prize race is pretty tough. So now we got that out of the way. Now let's get into the Marnie cards. So let's start with the less used Marnie cards. So firstly we have Marnie's Purrloin, which does like 60 damage if it's IX, which is not nothing, but it's not really good. Then we have Liepard, which hits 140 on the X's, but most of the X's are actually big, so this will only kill into weakness, so not really popular. Then we have Scraggy, again not that big. I evolved from Scrafty, again nothing to be particularly special. The main points of the deck are Marnie's Morpeko here, which has 40 damage for each dark energy attached to it, which can get up to pretty big, especially on a one prize body. So yeah, and then the key parts of the deck here, we have Marnie's Impidem, which is okay. Marnie's Morgium, it's fine. But here we go, big boy, Marnie's Grimmsnarl, with this broken ability called Pumped Up. When you play this card from your hand to evolve one of your Pokemon during your turn, you may switch up to 5 dark energies and attach them anywhere you like to Marnie's Pokemon. And on top of that, it has this attack that is 180 and 30 to one additional Pokemon. So it can power itself up, or it can actually power up the Morpeko. And with 5 by 4 is 200, 220, that knocks out a lot of Pokemon in the format. So that's pretty strong combination there. And yeah, that's limited set review. In terms of the deck, they actually run the crowd favorite Munkidori. So Munkidori takes a darkness energy and allows him to move damage. And since Grimmsnarl is a big boy, it allows you to do a bit more damage. So this 30 can become 16 a turn, and because you actually bring a lot of darkness energy, you can actually play like 3 Munkidoris, I believe they play. You can put 2 on him for his attack and 3, so that's 1 each on each of the 3 Munkidoris, and just move 90 damage a turn if they are damaging your Grimmsnarl, and that's on top of its 30. That's amazing. To augment that damage, they also use Froslass. That's this girl right here. Let me put on the pretty one. Here we go. Which during Pokemon's checkups put 1 damage counter on each Pokemon that has an ability, both yours and your opponent. So you'll be damaging your monkeys and moving damage, and you'll have a consistent damage output. What makes it very broken is this Spikemuth Gym, which is the field card for Marnie, which allows you once per turn to search your library for a Marnie Pokemon and put it into your hand. So, with a lot of draw outlets, they basically search for rare candy with Ionos and Professor's researches while they have input imp already on the field. That's been their turn. So they can just find a rare candy, then they use this to just evolve right away. Or you can do it the hard way and just search the next line in evolution every turn to eventually get here. And that's it. Just very big output of damage, very quick. You don't have to worry about placing energies manually very often. And that's it. And we'll see if they can get rid of this and you actually get like 6 or God forbid 7 energies on this. Could one-shot near everything in the format. And just a bit of recovery and you're back in business. So again, very, very strong deck. The Archetype doesn't use these particular 4, so it sticks very tightly to the Impidimp into Grimmsnarl line and possibly a Morpeko, but leans heavily on Munkidori. So again, pretty strong set. And same I would say about Ethan with Ethan's Thyplosion, which also primarily uses 3 or 4 cards in the sense of the Ethan line with the Ethan Cyndaquil line. So Cyndaquil could have a Thyplosion and maybe a Ho, or maybe a Slugma and Magcargo, maybe. Most of the time they stick very tightly to the Thyplosion and some recovery to just keep the pressure on and just run out the prize race. So yeah, that's my views on these 2 lines. Hope you enjoy it and stay tuned. I will do 2 more coming soon. I'm thinking about the Rocket as well as the Steven set, and I think that should cover one of the archetypes. So hope you all enjoyed, hope you find it insightful. And again, out of 10, Ethan, like 10 out of 10. Broken, you don't need all the cards in the line though, and same for Marnie. It's super cheap to build because Marnie came in a deck. Super cheap cards unless you want to get the highest rarity, and low skill ceiling, so almost anybody can play it, even beginners. One of the 2 best decks in the format that were very easy to assemble. So yeah, we hope you all enjoyed. Have a good day.